The similarities are striking, but Daniel Martin says he's not the Granger jewelry thief. Martin was arrested for attempting to break into a house on Timberline Trace North Monday morning.
She heard the front door rattling as somebody was trying to attempt to get in a residence. The same MOs that we've been looking for the last couple weeks of entry.
Ironically, it was right next door to a house that was broken into and robbed last week.
I don't think it's a coincidence that this individual tries to break into a house very, very close to our victim from last week.
After 3 break-ins where the burglar came in the front door during the day and stole mainly jewelry, police released a composite sketch of the suspect. But the woman who helped them make that sketch told us today the man she saw robbing her home wasn't Martin. Another problem with connecting Martin to the crimes? The suspect in the previous break-ins was driving a dark blue truck. Martin was stopped driving a red truck.
I think he just maybe obtained a different vehicle. So we're just trying to put all the facts together the best that we can.
Martin was charged with attempted burglary, DUI refusal, and a DUI felony charge from the previous month. Officers say he was drunk when he was arrested. He didn't have much to say on camera today, but later told us he was at work when the other break-ins happened. If that's true, the proximity to his alleged crime and last week's crime, along with the similarities in these 2 pictures,
to me they look very alike,
could add up to one of the strangest cases of coincidence ever. Catherine Rufener, News Center 16.
Catherine, there was quite a lot of gunfire, which our cameras caught.
That's right, Mo. You can actually see the bullets flying in the video. Now, thankfully, no officers were hurt in the shootout. For hours, it was nothing more than brief communication with the man inside 1633 North Brookfield, 41-year-old Randall Wagner Jr. But just as it seemed the situation might have been improving, things got much, much worse.
Thursday morning started off like any other on North Brookfield Street, but the day quickly turned into a nightmare for its residents.
And the police guy told me that there's a guy here with an automatic rifle.
A man in 1633 had barricaded himself and dangerous weapons inside. A sniper rifle, a window facing down the street, and a silhouette that kept appearing there were all ominous signs of what was to come. Earlier, police say the man's family called them saying he was acting erratically, and just after 11, that erratic behavior would cost him his life. Police say for a while they were able to communicate with the man through the help of his family.
We were just going on what we were being told by family members, which was that he was having some sort of, mental health issue.
But after he stopped talking, SWAT teams moved in.
We were met by the individual who was carrying a long gun, and apparently a shot was fired. Our officers returned fire, and the suspect is deceased now.
Lucensi Jackson and his son Alex are refugees from Liberia.
We came from a country where they fought a lot of civil war, almost 16 years, so fear and seeing people being killed by straight bullets is something that constantly play on my mind when I hear a bullet shot. To be going through this is very frightening.
And the violence, many say, is something they're just not willing to accept.
I'm just scary of the neighborhood. I have my kids and all in there, my grandkids, so I don't feel that this neighborhood is safe.
Joshua Wheeler is a father of 3 little girls, and early Monday morning he came very, very close to losing one of them.
My daughter was laying right there, her head, it was right here, and the gunshot was literally right there.
Wheeler's neighbor in the 800 block of South 6th Street had more than 20 bullets fired into his home. No one was hurt, but one of those shots also came through Wheeler's house. And for one terrifying moment, police thought his 10-year-old was dead.
The first thing they did when they came in here was check a pulse. And that was the scariest thing ever for, me to see that, possibly that she could have been dead right there.
Instead, she was just asleep. Wheeler's neighbor agreed to speak with us about the shooting, but out of fear asked us not to show his face.
I'm a felon. I'm ready to put a gun in the house. I got to keep me a gun to protect myself. I'd rather get caught with it than without it. I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6.
Cassandra Pierce also had people dump lighter fluid on the sides of the house where she was staying and throw a Molotov cocktail at the home.
There's a roll of toilet paper sitting on the porch on fire, And then I got a bunch of phone calls saying that they heard gunshots.
Another house on Evans Street was shot into. A mother was home with her 9-year-old and 5-month-old baby. As for Wheeler, he says he believes the fact that his daughter is alive is nothing short of a miracle. And as a father, he is pleading for peace.
You're not just shooting and, gangbanging. You're actually messing up the cycle of life, So the message I'm sending them is, just stop, because it's not going to go anywhere but death.
In Wilmington, Katie Rufener, News 14, Carolina.
He was passionate about so many things that an ordinary 19-year-old would not be passionate about.
That is how Patty Prouty remembers her son Josh, a 19-year-old student at Cape Fear Community College and a night manager at the Community Arts Center. But his spirit, which she says burned so brightly, was snuffed out Thursday night.
I asked him if he was alive, and the police officer said no, and it was a horrible, horrible scene.
But it was true. Police say it all started when Christopher Cremati, Jasmine Dodden, Daniel Henry, and Quintel Grady had tried unsuccessfully to rob a home on Churchill Drive. When that attempt failed, they went downtown looking for another target.
They were stalking an individual, a female individual, down on Front Street. She was able to get into her business prior to them being successful in the robbery attempt.
Then they spotted Prouty and confronted him. He had just gotten off his shift at the Arts Center and had gone to get a sandwich and was returning to his truck.
$10 was stolen from him, his car keys, and a Subway sandwich.
When Prouty asked to keep his ID from his wallet, police say Grady shot and killed him. All 4 of the suspects face a murder charge. Most face robbery charges, and all but Henry, because of his age, face the death penalty. And while Patty Prouty says she's hurting for their families as well,
this is somebody else's baby. Joshua was my baby.
She knows the one question she has no justifiable answer.
There's nothing that anyone can tell me from this day forward until the day I die that's going to make sense.
In Wilmington, Katie Rufener, News 14, Carolina. To our nation, Pearl Harbor is known as the day that will live in infamy. But to survivor Harold Garish, it's far more personal.
I heard a plane come over, and I heard the roar of the plane. I came over the Arizona, and it turned out to be a Japanese torpedo plane. I was about 150 yards from the Arizona when she exploded, and over 1,100 men and boys died.
It's those memories, those images that Garish says are impossible to forget.
It sort of gets to me.
But as tragic as December 7th, 1941 was for our country, 72 years later, remembering is exactly what veterans say people need to be doing.
The United States went to war in the greatest war ever fought by human beings in the history of mankind.
In observation of the anniversary, the 16th annual Southeastern North Carolina's Pearl Harbor commemoration was held at Battleship Park in Wilmington. But one day, Garish says, is far from enough. He worries our youth may forget, or worse yet, never even learn about Pearl Harbor.
I talked to a young fellow about a year ago, and he said, "Where's Pearl Harbor? Is that in the Bahamas?"
But those who sacrificed everything will live on in the hearts of heroes like Harold Garish.
A lot of them were just kids, 17, 18 years old, and who knows what they could have been if they had lived. But that's war.
In Wilmington, Katie Rufener.
For the land of the free.
News 14, Carolina.
Of the brave.
Brunswick County schools still need 24 bus drivers, but it's not as easy as just stepping behind the wheel.
All of the produce they grow out here is organic, but it's not just about the vegetables. As you can see, they also have close to 100,000 bees, and eventually they hope to be able to produce and sell honey. Everything from teeth cleaning to cavity filling to even extractions are being done today. But for the patients, they say it's not just about the services they're receiving here, it's about the self-confidence they leave with. While it may sound confusing to some that Work First is still accepting applications even though the program has been suspended, officials say it's all about looking to the future and thinking positively. It's not just sweet treats, but also sweet messages. Cards have been pouring in from all across the country with messages thanking the troops. Many people have said this year seems worse when it comes to allergies, but those who are allergic to grass and trees generally see their allergies at different times of the year. Good afternoon, Michiana, and thanks for joining us. I'm Catherine Rufener. Well, we're following breaking news right now. He's serving life in prison without parole for killing his sleeping grandfather. But right now, 16-year-old Dakota Eliason is in court again, hoping to land a new trial. Mitt Romney has a little more company on the campaign trail today. The GOP presidential candidate is officially a protectee of the U.S. Secret Service. But not even those plainclothes agents could have saved him from a stumble in a live TV interview. And some people are pretty upset. NBC's Brian Moore has the story. Well, a strike has been averted at the BP oil refinery in Whiting, Indiana, and several other refineries across the country. Negotiators from the United Steelworkers and the oil refiners reached a tentative agreement last night on a new 3-year labor contract. Welcome back, everybody. I'm sure a lot of you out there got the opportunity to get outside yesterday and enjoy those temperatures. I know I was driving with the windows down.
Yeah.